Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Cutting Edge Figure Skating Podcast. My name is Kim Dunaway, and in this episode, I'll be covering the women's event at the 2024 Finlandia Trophy, the fifth of six stops in the Grand Prix series. We just have one more to go after this week. The Grand Prix final picture is a little bit clearer and also really murky at the same time, but I'll get to that at the end of the episode. The women's event here, I think, was the cleanest probably of the four disciplines. It was a pretty messy Grand Prix all the way around. And this Grand Prix definitely was missing two of the big names who were originally slated to compete here. And that was Luna Hendricks and Isabel Levito, who both withdrew just days really before the event, a little over a week before the event. And so Laura Naki Gutman and Asun Yoon from Korea were in as replacements. So let's get into the results here. This event was won by Hana Yoshida of Japan, which I correctly predicted, which is rare. So I'm just going to go ahead and ring my bell for myself a little bit. It was a very close event. This, like Skate America, was separated by just a hair between all of the members of the podium, and any little thing could have been the difference in winning or being the bronze medal here. But Hana Yoshida does win here. She gets exactly what she needed in order to qualify for Grand Prix final. In her short program, nice dramatic opening. She got level fours on everything. The only thing that she got a call on was a Q on the triple toe in her Let's Toe combo. If you compare her program to what Cowrie we saw last week, which is basically kind of the top of what we're going to see with women, Cowrie got a 36.68 in PCS. Hana here gets a 31.69. It's definitely not her strongest suit. She's definitely stronger on the technical elements, but did enough to come into the free skate in first place. And in the free skate, she did try the triple axel, which honestly, I just felt like she really didn't need here, coming in with the lead, with the Grand Prix final on the line, without the two biggest names. I didn't feel like she needed it, but she did go for it. She did do one right at the end of warm-up and turned out on it, but she fell on it here. There are some elements of this program that I can see where they're trying to take advantage of some of the beats of the music. They're trying to engage Hana into the program a little bit more. Like there's this hydroblade movement that she does in her choreo sequence where like she pumps her fist to the music that I think really stands out. In general, when it came to the technical marks, once she fell on the triple axel, was like, oh boy, she's got to land everything because she was going last. You knew exactly what she needed to do. And she basically did. The only thing was she does a triple Lutz plan triple toe late in her program, and she only got a double toe off. But overall, she did, like I said, exactly what she needed to do. One thing I like about this program is that she doesn't end her program with two spins back to back. She actually does a spin, does a step sequence, and then does the last spin. Not knocking those who do two spins back to back at the end. A lot of skaters do it. I just like to see a little bit of variation. So when other skaters do something different, I like to point it out. She did get a few calls. Her tech score dropped about 3 points, but she did just enough to stay ahead of her Japanese teammate of Rino Matsuke, who was a silver medalist here. In her short program, was a little bit better than it was at Skate Canada. Because from Skate Canada, she was in 11th after the short program. It had to come a long way to make it back to the podium. She has this nice connecting step that she does into her triple flip, but she fell on it here. She did get her triple Lutz triple toe off in the second half. I really love her footwork sequence. It's just really light and easy, and I feel like it's a great contrast from the choppiness that we often see a lot of, not just ladies do, we see it in the men's event as well. And so when you have those skaters that really have the skating skills to really have this nice flow in it, it really stands out. In her free skate, Mark just geeks out about her edges so much, which I mean, you'd have to just sit there and look at her skates the whole time to be able to point it out. I have huge kudos to the Mark Henrydys and the, Benjamin Augustos of the world who can just pick those things out like nothing, right? But I'll take his word for it that she has amazing edges. They're so great. There, she ends up with a time violation in this program, and that keeps her from getting to 200. She also doubles a Salchow late in her program. That keeps her from getting to 200. And honestly, that keeps her from winning here as well. But everything else was great. She gets her second silver medal on the Grand Prix, and she puts herself in a good position to make Grand Prix final. It's not a done deal, and I'll talk about that at the end of the episode. But really beautiful programs from her, even with the fall in the short program. I enjoy that short program so much, even the second year around. It's still really, really magical when it's skated well. Third place here was probably the biggest surprise of maybe any of the Grand Prix and any of the disciplines, and that is Laurinaki Gutmann of Italy. She is the first lady since Carolina Kostner in 2017 to medal on the Grand Prix circuit. This is huge for her and huge for Italy, and she was originally not slated to compete here. She really made the most of going back to back and getting this extra opportunity on the Grand Prix. In the short program, it was just the best short program that she's ever done, and there's actually still some room for improvement. The landings could have been better on both her triple toe and on her double axel. I thought she started this program with so much energy. The triple Lutz was really strong. The judges were actually split between her, Hana Yoshida, and Sarah Everhart for first place. And based upon how well she skated here, she got bumps in PCS here, better than what she did last week at NHK. I think if she were to skate completely clean, that she could go 70. And that would be a really great spot for her to be able to get to, because then you're looking at, could she medal at Europeans, for instance? In her free skate, she needed to skate well to stay on the podium, better than what she has really skated in the past, and she did that. She turned out of her triple flip. She squeaked out a triple loop, but other than that, just a couple of minor mistakes. She got a personal best 131 points, so for her to get 130 points in the free skate with a couple of mistakes, I thought, again, shows potential for her to get 135 maybe. If she can, she is definitely possible to get that 200 threshold, and she was very, very close to getting it here. Like Skate America, none of the ladies got to 200 points, but all three of these ladies on the podium were just very, very close. And if I could take just a little bit of a side bar for a second to talk about Italy, because obviously the Olympics are going to be in Italy next year. And I've been saying it's going to be very hard for Italy to qualify more than one Italian woman based upon what we have seen this entire Olympic cycle from any of the Italian ladies. Now, if Laurinaki can skate like this at Worlds, if she were to get that nod, which I think right now it's definitely her spot to lose, she could qualify two Italian ladies if she could finish in the top 10, which would be fantastic for them to have two people in their host country. But what I'm most excited for the potential of is the implications that a skate like this could have for Italy in the team event. Because you can imagine they would love to be able to medal in the team event at home. Without Team Russia there, Team US definitely comes in as the reigning gold medalist and probably have the best team on paper if you look at returning a number one dance team, because both Chalk and Bates and Hubble and Donahue won their segments in the team event last time. Coming again with strong male skater, most likely Nathan won his. You would think Ilya would be right there again. In pairs, potentially Cam and O'Shea could bring what we saw Alexa and Brandon bring last time. And then with the women, they have potential to be actually better than what Karen Chen brought last time. So they look really good. And the teams that can contend with them, usually you're looking at Canada, right? They've got a strong dance team, better than what they had last time because Piper and Paul are in the top three, whereas last time they were kind of pushing fourth, fifth. You've got a good pair team. Again, Deanne and Max have a better scoring potential, better placement potential than what James and Radford and Mariana and Moore Towers had last time. And you still have big question marks with both the singles. But with Maddie Skeeza's probably bringing about what she brought last time, and then you just don't know what you're going to get with the Canadian man. You look at Team Japan, reigning silver medalist, right? Super strong in singles and in pairs, but dance is definitely going to be something that sort of drags them down a little bit. So bring in Team Italy and bring in Team Georgia. Italy with a strong man, be it Grassel or Matteo, obviously a strong pair team, Conti and Michi perhaps, obviously a strong dance team in Guinard and Fabry, and potentially a stronger lady than what they've had, even if Laura Naki can't pull off 70 kind of, just competent is what I've been saying for the last two seasons on the podcast. Just a competent lady puts them in a medal position. And you look at Team Georgia with Meltikina and Buralava in pairs, Davis and Smolkin with the improvements that they have made. For the dance team, Nika Agazzi and Anastasia Gubanova, who are both huge wild cards who can go out there and finish in the top four or be at the bottom. You just never know. Those could be two teams that could also put themselves in contention. So I'm excited for what potentially this could bring for Team Italy. Not to get the cart before the horse or any of those cliches, right? Consistency obviously is going to win the day. So can she duplicate this? But I think this is going to give her a lot of confidence because if she skates like this, she can absolutely be in the conversation to medal at Europeans. Okay, moving on from all of that, let's get into our fourth place finisher, and that was Sarah Everhart of the US with a fourth place finish here and a fifth place finish at Grand Prix France 2 weeks ago. She's really right there with Alyssa Liu and Brady Tennell, firmly in that march for that third American lady spot for Worlds. In her short program, it was funny, she almost messed up her starting position. She had to readjust herself. Didn't throw her off, not one bit. She was clean again as she was in France. But with a lower score here, she actually got 1 point less in PCS here than what she did in France. Interestingly enough, I kind of feel like she's starting to get a little bit of that Ely effect. Like at first, they get really excited when they land all of their jumps and they get a little carried away with the PCS. But then as they get into deeper competition, moving from a challenger to the Grand Prix, once you see them a few times and you start to notice some of the deficiencies even more, and you start to see the judges really start to pick on those skating skills. In her free skate, she certainly had the goods to win here with the field that was here and with the mistakes that the other ladies ahead of her had. However, her landings were not as crisp as they have been, and she ended up turning out of her triple sow, which is literally the only jump that she has not landed cleanly in 4 competitions this season. Cranberry Cup, Lombardia, and then both of her Grand Prix. And I feel like at this point, if she does not make the world team, it's going to be the second mark that prevents her from getting there, because I felt myself sort of going back to Rachel Flatt when I was watching her in her free skate at this competition, because Rachel was like that. She was automatic. Like, girl for years never failed, landed every single jump, but she just was not exciting to watch. Like, I could not tell you one Rachel Flatt program at all. I could remember a couple of her skating dresses, but I can't remember one piece of music that she skated to. Now, I'm not saying that Sarah is going to stay at the Rachel Flatt level. I think that her coaching team, which Tatiana Malinina was here with her in the Kiss and Cry, which was great to see. She gets too nervous to go to competitions where Elia is competing, so it was nice to see her in the Kiss and Cry with Sarah here. But I do think that they will put a priority on her program components in the off season and really work on that. So I'm not saying that she's going to stay at that kind of level, but right now she's not very exciting to watch. It didn't help that she went after Rino Matsuke, who is brilliant in that department, right? But that being said, she definitely has the goods to podium at Grand Prix right now to podium at Nationals. I think what might get her at Nationals is whether or not they're going to be strict tech calling at National, because oftentimes they tend to be pretty lenient on that. And if Alyssa and Brady don't get calls that they might get internationally at Nationals, they're definitely going to be above her because of the program components. If they're going to bring that strict kind of tech calling to Nationals, then that might open the door for her if she skates well to get over them if they don't. But of the three ladies right now, I would say I would have Brady slightly ahead of Alyssa and Sarah, and I'd probably have those two neck and neck for that final world spot. But she has certainly done herself lots of favors with the fall that she has had, even for me picking on her skating skills and her composition and her presentation in her programs. In fifth place here was Asun Yoon of Korea. And Team Korea has really needed some good news to come out of the ladies skating, because even Chaeyeon Kim, who's had a very strong fall in the challenger circuit, finished fourth at her first Grand Prix, which is not what she wanted. And even so, with Chaeyeon Kim being obviously their choice, their pick for Worlds, they've still got two other ladies to pick from. And there really hasn't been anybody that looked like they would be ready to go to Worlds right now. So this was a really great opportunity for Asun here, and she really did make the best of a short notice to come here. In her short program, did nice jumps, triple Lutz, triple toe, triple flip. Some issues with her twizzles, like in her footwork. She also has this bent leg in some of her spins that I just find personally distracting. But good skate from her to finish fifth and be in that final group and going into the free skate. And her free skate, she's skating to Scheherazade. I think that she has really nice tight rotations on her jumps. She singled a triple Lutz in her performance. That was the only error that she had. I just feel like she doesn't put a lot of effort into her performance. Like her step sequence could match the music more. I feel like there was a lot of traveling on the last combo spin as well. But with a top 5 finish here, that's the best that we've seen outside of Chaeyeon Kim. And I think that she put herself in a good position to make the world team, and we shall see. In sixth place here was the Shield of France. Better result for her here than in France a couple weeks ago. In her short program, turned out of her triple loop. It's a nice program. I just feel like she looks a little unrefined in it. In her free skate, I really like the music that she uses. She uses pieces of music. One's called Quiet Moon. The other one's called The Lion Woman. She's just not the most engaging skater. Like, she had some small mistakes on some landings, but she was really pumped after her skate, and she was very near her personal best at 123 points. Team France is another team. They obviously have a decently good dance team in Lopereva and Prizeau. They've got good French man between Adam or Kevin. If they could get a decent lady, they're always going to have an issue in pairs. The Kovalevs are just not up to the quality of what you're going to see in a lot of the other top pair teams. But they're a team that we're going to see in the team event, and they really need a good French lady to help them there. And at times, I've seen Lauren do pretty well and give me hope, and at times, she's really struggled. So consistency has not been something that she's been really great at, but it was good to see her skate well here. She finished 7th in both segments, but ended up 6th overall. In 7th place was Nina Petrokina of Estonia. In her short program, her triple flip landed low, and she only got a double toe off after it. She also later popped her Lutz into a single, and it's just really hard to come back from those kind of mistakes. And so she was in 11th place after the short program. And then in the free skate, she did a double flip, and that was the only error. And frankly, this was the best that we have seen her skate since Skate America last year. Her tech score only went down a couple of points, which was great. She had a lot of calls. last week at NHK. This week, just so much better. 124.9 was her score, almost at 125. She was in tears, basically, in the kiss and cry from that skate and that score. And it was really encouraging to see, because she is someone that also should be challenging for podium spots at Europeans and at Grand Prix. And it's been a hard road for her to come back from that broken leg, but she showed some signs here that she's kind of getting back that form. And that was really, really encouraging to see. In eighth place here was Mai Mihara of Japan. In her short program, triple Lutz, double toe, not terrible, wasn't going to help her, win the short program, but it's not a big mistake. But then she went and doubled her triple flip, which is a big mistake because no points for that. And it's a shame because I feel like this program really showcases her skills very well. In the long program, it was just not at her best. She did do a triple here, just kind of squeaked out the landing, but then she popped a sow, she stepped out of a triple loop, did a double flip, and I felt like all of the mistakes really affected the quality of her program. I just didn't feel like she was ever really settled. It's safe to say Maya is out of any potential worlds talk for this season. And at this point, it's just, can she get back from whatever injury it is that has bothered her in this current off season that has affected her training time? Can she get back to the form that she was at 2 seasons ago to be back to contending for Grand Prix medals next season? In ninth place was Lindsay Thorngren of the U.S., who I know was hoping to have better results than what she had last week in NHK, but in the short program, had a fall on her triple Lutz. She did tack on a triple toe to her triple flip later in the program, but once again, she got unders on all 3 of her jumps. She did get better levels this week than what she got last week, but had similar PCS. I wonder if there is just not a better strategy, if a triple toe might be a better route to go than the Lutz toe or the flip toe, because she constantly gets unders on those. Now, perhaps she would get unders on a triple toe as well. And yes, a triple toe is not going to be worth as many points, but you're talking about the difference of a couple of points in start value versus her having lower start value than that because she's getting unders, which is reducing the base value on the higher start value jumping pass. For instance, a triple Lutz triple toe has a base value of 10.10 if done in the first half of the program like Lindsay does. A triple toe has a base value of an 8.4. However, like last week, Lindsay gets undercalls on both of those jumps, so that makes the base value 8.08, which makes it less than a triple toe combination. So my question at this point is there another combination that she could do that she would not get undercalls on that would allow her to be more successful? Because even if she lands a triple Lutz triple toe well and gets undercalls on it, she's automatically going to get negative GOE because they were called under rotated. Whereas if she could get a combo simpler but fully rotated, then that would allow her to get positive GOE on that element, and that would allow her to get more points in the program. And she's just struggling so much and just digging herself a hole every single event. And it's very difficult for her to come back for it in the free skate because of the undercalls anyway. So I just think at this point, it might be worth another strategy in the short program. In the free skate, I do feel like we're starting to see some more expression in Lindsay's face, which is good. Landed pretty much everything except for her double axel. Not sure what happened on that axle, just like a waxel, basically. But again, her beginning tech score when she finished her program was 64.91. And when the scores came out, 56.91. So that was 8 points, 3 unders, 2 Q calls. all of her elements are really high quality. And so I'm just hoping beyond hope that they can figure out some kind of strategy that can maximize the scores that she can get with the skills that she has right now, because she's just such a lovely skater, and it's a bummer to see her at the bottom of these Grand Prix, ninth for the second week in a row, basically just ahead of the three Finnish ladies. In 10th place here was Jana Jyrkinen. This is her third year in a row being at the Finland Grand Prix. In her short program, she did a triple Lutz triple toe, was a little wonky on her triple loop. I thought her spins were a little slow. I didn't think her program seemed very inspired. There was no real connection that she had with the music. In the free skate, you can see that she's the best Finnish lady here. She's got the strongest skating skills, got the best program composition. The second half just wasn't as strong as the first half. She actually finished 11th in the free skate, but was able to, she ended up 10th overall after being 9th in the short program. In 11th place was Nella Polkinen. She is somebody who has great potential. At the 2023 Finlandia, she actually won the free skate. But we really haven't seen that form from her again. In the short program, she was skating to Be Italian by Fergie, which every time I hear this song, it makes me think of Daria Pavlyuchenko and Denis Koidikin, a former Russian pair. They've both retired at this point, but they did this short program to Be Italian during the COVID year, I believe. And I just thought it was so fun. I love the music. I think it's great for a short program. It just gives you lots of opportunities to really be over the top. I think that she skated very well to it. She just did a triple toe, double toe as her combo, and she turned out of her Lutz. So she was actually in 12th place going into the free skate. Her free skate was the best of the three ladies from Finland, which really isn't saying much. She only had one jumping pass with a triple jump that was clean. Everything else was either a call or a rough landing. So she ends up sandwiched in between her two teammates. In 12th place was Olivia Lisko, which was a skater I was not familiar with. The other two Finnish ladies I was. In the short program, I thought it was a really lovely skate. Like, it was a clean skate, a couple of landings, weren't amazing, but I thought the best part of it was like the connecting step into and out of her double axel. Really enjoyed it. And then she actually was 10th in the short program, but unfortunately for her in the free skate, just lots of technical mistakes. No falls, but just not great landings. Doubled a lot of her jumps. She was skating to this very interesting piece of music that I'll probably butcher in Verno Portino. It's from an album called 8 Seasons, and it sounded like a 4 Seasons tango mashup. It was really interesting. I found her to be a really fun and sort of engaging skater. Just a lot of unfortunate mistakes for her and put her at the bottom of the standings here. But all of the ladies from Finland were really, right within like 4 points of each other and kind of flip-flopped between the short and program and the free skate. So it could be a very hotly contested Finland nationals coming up for these ladies. All right, so who gets my Pamchenko award this week? Well, this is easy. It's definitely Laura Naki-Gutman for getting on the podium here, having the best two programs of her career, personal best and total score, free skate, and short program. Really the potential that has always been there, and also the judges really rewarding her in program components. She actually got better program components than Hana Yoshida did in the free skate, and I think she still has rooms to improve both of these programs as well. Before I talk about Grand Prix final standings, let's talk about the lineup for next week, because it is pretty stacked and has big implications for Grand Prix final. So at Cup of China next week, which is our last stop, will be Madeline Skizis of Canada, Jingji An of China, along with Hongjing Chen and Yi Zhu, Anastasia Gubanova of Georgia, Mona Chiba, Rion Sumiyoshi, Rinka Watanabe all from Japan, Cheon Kim of Korea, along with Min-Chae Kim, Kimi Rapon, and Amber Glenn. So compared to this week, this Grand Prix is super duper stacked, because we have Amber, who's already won a Grand Prix. We have Mona and Rinka, who have both kind of silver medals at Grand Prix this season, and we have Ryeon, who has a bronze medal at Grand Prix this season. We have Chaeyeon Kim, who was second after the short program in her first Grand Prix, and unfortunately just too many mistakes and small mistakes really in her free skate that ended up fourth for her. But all of these ladies have the potential to win this event. You could throw Kimi Rapon in there as well. So what does this look like in terms of predictions? Like, who do I think? Do I think that Amber can pull off a second win? Boy, I don't know. I feel like both her and Rinka, I really don't know what to expect because the consistency has not always been there for Rinka. And with Amber, all the goods are there. I mean, she goes out and pulls a short program like she did last time and puts herself, 8 points ahead of the pack. She puts herself in a really good position to win. And she doesn't have to win to get to Grand Prix final. In fact, she just needs to get a bronze medal to guarantee herself a space. And there's still ways for her to get in if she even doesn't make the podium. I'm going to say that I'm just going to go out on the limb and say Amber wins again. I feel like, I don't know, but I'm just going to say that. I'm going to say Mona Chiba gets silver, and I'm going to pick Ryeon Sumiyoshi to get bronze. I'm going to say Rinka falls off the podium here. Boy, which means I'm not picking Chaeyeon Kim. Oh no, this is a toughie. This is a real toughie. I'm going to go with my first instinct, but I'm not confident about any of those placements. Let's look at the Grand Prix final standings, because like I said, there's huge implications coming into Cup of China for the ladies Grand Prix final. So we've got Kaori with 2 wins is in. We've got Wakaba, who has a win and a silver. She's in. We've got Hana Yoshida, who has a win and a bronze, and she is in. And the other 3 spots are up for grabs. So the next lady is Rino Matsuke, who has 26 points, like Hana Yoshida has 26 points. So if that's confusing, that's because the first tiebreaker is if you've won an event. If you have a gold medal, that is a tiebreaker. So with Hana, even though she has the same number of points that Rino does, with the gold medal, that gets her the spot over Rino Matsuke. Matsuke with 2 silvers has 26 points. She's in a really good position, but there's so many moving parts going into this last Grand Prix. So Amber has 15 points. I've skipped over the people in between here, like Sarah Everhart and Laura Naki Gutman, and those that have like 16 points who are technically next in the standings. A whole lot of craziness would have to happen for those ladies to make it in. So going with the ones who are most likely, we've got basically 6 people who could find their way into the Grand Prix final without a whole lot of foolishness happening. Amber, Mona Chiba, Rinka Watanabe, Ryeon Sumiyoshi, Chaeyeon Kim, and Kimi Rapon. So for Amber, Amber's got 15 points. So 26 points would get her in because she's already got a win, which means if she finished anywhere on the podium, she is into Grand Prix final. Mona Chiba with 13 points. If she gets silver medal again, that's going to put her on the bubble with Rino Matsuke, for instance, and it may come down to total points. If Mona Chiba wants to guarantee that she gets in, then if Amber wins, then Amber would get in with 30 points. Mona Chiba would have 26 points. That would prevent Rinka Watanabe from getting 26 points. So Mona would get in and Rino Matsuke would get in. So those are probably some of the most likely scenarios, right? Now, Rinka Watanabe, who has 13 points, could also get silver medal here and get herself in, because then if Amber wins, or if someone other than Mona Chiba wins, then she would get in with 26 points with the silver. All of these ladies would get in if they win. Rinka, Mona, Amber. All of them control their own destiny. If they win, they're in. Someone like Ryeon Sumiyoshi, if she were to win, she would have 26 points in a win. She would get in. So she also controls her destiny if she were to win. If she were to get silver and only have 24 points, it's a much more difficult path to get in with 24 points. If she wants to get in, she really needs to win, whereas Rinka and Mona really just need to get silver to get in. And like I said, Amber just needs to get on the podium for their best shot. For Chaeyeon Kim and Kimi Rapon, they both would need to win, which would give them 24 points, and then they would need a lot of help. They would need all of the other ladies ahead of them to get less than 24. Well, they could get 24 points because they would have a win over them. So if Mona Chiba, Rinka Watanabe, Ryeon Sumiyoshi, all ended up with 24 points as well, but Cheon Kim or Kimmy Rapon had a win, they would get the nod because they had a win. So that's basically how they would get in. So it's a little bit tougher path for them, but it's also not crazy, right? With all of these ladies, they can be brilliant or not. So it should be interesting, and I'm glad there's a lot of stakes going into this last Grand Prix. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. You can find me on all of the socials, Instagram, Threads, Twitter, and Blue Sky at iSkate Podcast, as well as you can find me in your podcatcher or on YouTube. Make sure that you like the video if you listen. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast if you have not already. And make sure that you follow me on the socials so that we can interact with each other doing all of these fun events, which of course, Cup of China coming up. They're going to be at all kind of crazy hours of the weekend. But frankly, this was very friendly hours for Finlandia, and I saw almost nothing live, unfortunately. So it just kind of depends on the week. But we know that we'll get them watched some way within the little itty bitty time frame that Peacock gives us. If not, we use our VPN and watch it on YouTube. All right, guys, I hope you have a good rest of your week. I'll be back with more recaps. Until then, enjoy all the skating, all the things.